Hey everyone, how's it going? Grizzly here today with a different kind of video. Instead of a gameplay, what you're going to be seeing right now is me creating an image, more specifically a greeting card in Adobe Illustrator. And for those of you who do not know, I went to school for graphic design. That's what I majored in. And I did that for 2 years, and prior to that, I messed around with it a lot in high school and middle school. So it's just something I've always really enjoyed, and that's what you're going to be watching on the screen. So I was watching a few of Star's videos, his older ones. I sometimes go back and rewatch some of them, and I stumbled upon his Storytime series, which I remember really enjoying back when it first came out. And basically what it was is he would put up some artwork on the screen that he was working on, and basically he would just tell a story. And I really like the idea, and I'm going to kind of steal it from him here because, sometimes, like he mentioned in his video, there are things you would like to talk about or something that isn't related to Team Fortress 2, and it doesn't really feel appropriate to have a gameplay in the background. So I'm just going to kind of use this to tell stories, things that have happened in my life that I think are kind of entertaining, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that because I think everybody enjoys a good story. I mean, stories have been passed down for generations, and the good ones always survive that. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today, and I apologize that we're kind of jumping right into the middle of me working on this image. The program I was using to record the screen is, I don't know, it's Cam Studio, and it was funny because Star actually mentioned in his video that he had trouble with it as well, and I didn't even pay any attention to that, and I was like, oh, I'm sure it will work fine with me, and it didn't. So we're jumping about halfway into it, and basically what I'm doing right now is I have the meta gun from Team Fortress 2 as the medic, and I'm just outlining it, kind of, getting a rough idea of what I'm going to be doing with it, and we'll be creating a greeting card, and I'm just tracing it, so I apologize if you guys think that's cheating or whatever, but it's really a great way to work on vector-based art like this. And if you have any questions on this kind of stuff, I would be more than happy to answer that. And maybe I can save that for another video. But we're going to start talking about the story. So last November 2013, I went to Portland, Oregon, to visit a few of my friends. And I'd never been to Portland. I'd been to Seattle the previous summer. And I like to get out. I like to travel and, experience different parts of the country. I can't really afford going out of country to visit places, so I just try and stay in the country. And since I had friends in Portland, free place to stay, so that was great. And I actually ended up staying there for 3 weeks, which is almost a full month. I got there on Halloween, and I stayed there until the 20th of November, so almost the whole month of November I was there. And all three of us, so it was me and two of my friends, and they'd both been there for a few months, and they were living in a studio apartment. For those of you who do not know what a studio apartment is, it is basically a one-room apartment. Not a one-bedroom, it's just you walk in, there's a room, boom, that's it, and a bathroom. So it was pretty crowded, but I really enjoyed the experience. I feel like I got a lot out of it. And we didn't have a vehicle, we didn't have a car, we relied on public transportation, which we didn't really use a whole lot. We walked everywhere. We probably walked, 4 or 5 miles every day just to get to where we wanted to go. And I don't mind doing that. I really enjoy walking. I feel like when you go into a city, that's really the best way to feel like you're a part of it. If you take a cab or you drive, I feel like you're missing out on a lot of the characteristics of a city. You don't get to look at the buildings and the people and all the stuff going on as well. And I feel like when you're walking and you walk, certain routes over the span of several weeks, you kind of start, you learn the city a lot better, I feel like. And I went out for a few runs while I was there, and it was just really relaxing. But what I'm going to talk about is I went to a park, and I believe it was Washington Park. It's this huge park in Portland. It has a rose garden, a Japanese garden. They say it's the most authentic Japanese garden outside of Japan. So I was going to go to this park because I was told there was a lookout at the very top that you could kind of, look over Portland, and you could see Mount Hood, which is the big mountain that's just outside of Portland. And I wanted to get a picture of that and, just go for a nice little walk. So I took my camera and I headed off, and I started walking there, and it was probably about 1.5 miles, 2 miles to the park. So I'm walking along, everything's going great. There's a little bit of construction, no problem. So I get to the park, and it's November, so, you know, it's been raining a little bit. And there's this big winding path that goes up the side of this hill. And, you know, I'm like, I don't really want to walk that winding path. That just seems like it's going to take a lot of time. So I decided I'm just going to go straight up this hill. And I start walking up the hill, and I put my foot in there, and, you know, it's pretty wet. And I slip a little bit, but I catch myself, and I say, okay, we can do this. And I crawl up the side of this thing. And, you know, I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I go, and you can kind of see where everybody else has decided they're going to walk up the path as well. So I'm kind of following them, and I get to this next one. It's a little bit steeper, but there are like vines growing down, and I say, you know, I'll be able to pull myself up. So I start up there, and I slip, and I slide all the way down, and I drop my camera bag, and I just look like a fool. And luckily, nobody saw me, so I continue on my merry little way up the mountain. I said mountain, it was just a hill. So I get to the rose gardens, the first thing I stumble upon. I didn't really go in with any directions. I don't plan things out very well. When I go places, I just kind of like to walk around and, you know, wander aimlessly. And I'd feel like I just like to get lost, kind of. And that's exactly what happened. So I went over to the Japanese garden, and they charged admission for that. And I was like, I'm not going to pay for that. You know, there was a fence, and I peered over the fence because, you know, I'm somewhat tall. So I was able to see over the fence, and I got a peek in there. It looked pretty neat, but I'm glad I didn't have to pay for that. But my real goal here was that lookout, like I was telling you guys about. I wanted to get to the top of this thing and get that great view. So I went over to one of the little signs that, you know, like in a mall, when you go up to a sign and it has like all the stores and they're all labeled, like a directory. That's basically what this was. It was a directory, I guess I should have just said. And I walked up to that, and I was like, where's this lookout thing? And I couldn't really find it, but there were a few paths that led upwards. So I was like, I'm going to try these paths out. So I start walking, and this is like a nature hike. It's like a very wooded area with just like a dirt or gravel path going through it. So I'm not too concerned, you know. I've got a couple hours before the sun goes down. So I start walking up this hill, and I walk, and I'm walking, and I'm walking a lot. I probably walked 2 miles on this trail itself, not the 2 miles there, not the mile up the hill to get there. When I get to this trail, I've probably walked 2 miles, and I'm in the middle of the woods. I'm looking around. I'm at that point where I say, do I keep going, hoping that I'll get to this lookout tower or that I can find an exit? Or do I turn around? Because it's going to be getting dark soon. So I wasn't sure. And I said, you know what? You're only in Portland once. Let's go for it. So I keep walking, and I'm hoping, you know, I'm going to come upon an exit. If I don't, I'm looking around saying, man, where am I going to spend the night? Because I wouldn't be able to find my way out there in dark. It'd be pitch black with all the trees, and, you know, it's overcast already. So it would be extremely dark, and I would just be lost up there. And I'd try and call my friends, but I mean, they couldn't find me out in that place. The park probably closes. So I'm getting a little nervous, and I hear like this thudding. And I'm like, what is that? And I turn around, there's this guy, and he's just like running up this mountain. It's not a mountain. I keep saying a mountain. It's not a mountain. It's a hill, okay? He's running up this very steep incline. So I say, oh, this guy knows where he's going. I'm going to follow him. So I follow this guy, and I end up getting out of an exit, not even close to where I came in the park. I'm so confused at this point. And I find another directory. I'm like on the other side of this park. And I'm thinking it's going to get dark soon. So I start walking my way back. I'm taking all these shortcuts through these bushes and stuff. And I finally get out of there. I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. It's so anticlimactic. I feel like I'm building it up to one event. I feel like I'm making you guys think there's going to be one thing in here that happens that's just like really funny or really odd. And no, there's not. I've basically told the whole story. That's it, really. I went on a hike to a park. I went up, and I was afraid I was going to get lost, and I didn't. That's the story. And I apologize. That was not a good... I hope, like, the storytelling was pretty good. I mean, I feel like it was kind of entertaining, but the ending just really sucked. You know, it's like a really good movie, and then the ending just like ruins it. Like everybody dies, and you're like, wow, you know, it was a good movie, but that ending really sucked. And I feel like that's what that little story I just told was. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I thought, for some reason, I thought something more exciting happened. It didn't. I got back, the sun didn't go down, and I ate some pasta that night, and everything was good. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. We are around, how far are we? We're about 11 minutes in. So that's a pretty lengthy video. And I just talked about walking up a hill. And I'm trying, you know, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I had a really, really awful journey. So, all right. So the card is going to be getting finished soon. If you guys would like more of these types of videos where I tell bad stories, I guess. If you guys want more bad stories, let me know. I've got plenty of bad stories. I don't have many good ones, but I've got plenty of awful ones. So thank you guys for watching. If you would like to know anything about what I'm doing on the screen, or if you just want more videos like this, or if you don't want more videos like this, let me know. I appreciate that. And I will talk to you all later. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.
This is Heavy Weapons Guy. Thank you for watching Grizzly Berry. Now click that little yellow button. Ha